Hi boys and girls, so we've been studying how heat moves. Heat moves, that's what heat is. It's the movement of particles. So we can think about the particles of a solid are really tight and close together and they're not really moving or traveling anywhere. And then when we get a liquid heats up a little bit and it does start to move more. And then if we heat that up even more, it becomes a gas and it moves really fast. We get more movement with more heat. So there are three ways that we've been learning of how heat moves. One of those ways is conduction. So like if we have a pot and we put it on a stove and the pot is touching the stove, the pot heats up because it is touching the stove. That's an example of conduction where heat moves between two objects that are touching each other. That's conduction. We also have convection, where heat moves through a liquid or a gas. So if we have that same pot and there's water in here, the hot water is going to rise to the top and the cool water is going to sink down and start to heat up. The hot water rises back up, the cool water sinks back down and heats up, and we get that cycle or that current that's going on, and that's a convection current. When heat is moving kind of in a circular motion in a liquid or a gas, that is called convection, we've learned. The third way that heat moves is radiation. So radiation, picture if this is the sun, and the sun is shining down on the earth, and it's heating up something down on the earth, like a swimming pool or your car. And you go to get inside your car on a bright sunny day, you go inside and it's going to feel kind of hot inside. And your car has been heated up from the sun's rays and the radiation from the sun. Radiation is when heat is moving through the air, through the atmosphere from the sun to get down to earth to heat things up. Radiation can also happen from fire. So if we think about the sun, the heat from the sun or heat from fire, it's not circling and cycling like it does in convection. It's just going out in one direction. A fire, all the smoke goes straight up and it rises kind of straight up. The sun, it kind of just goes straight down and goes straight down. So it's not cycling like in a current, like convection. It's just going down or going straight up. And that's radiation, when heat is moving through space from the sun or from fire to heat something up. So those are your three ways that heat moves. The other thing we're going to take a look at then, today in class we have a thermal camera. And so a thermal camera takes a look at and measures heat and temperature, and it shows it in different colors. So I'm going to try to use this here to show my face. You can see kind of my face if you're looking at it in the camera. You see my face here. I'm touching my nose. My nose is kind of cold, and you see it's kind of green right now. My chin is much warmer. My hands are kind of cold. They're kind of blue. My hair is kind of cold. Now look at my face, and then I'm going to put my mask on, and you're going to be able to look at it again and see how that looks different. Here. So there's my face with my mask on, and you can see that my mask is much cooler than like my forehead. My forehead's up here. My mask is here, so that's a big difference. Another thing then we're going to be doing in class is we're going to look at the thermal camera and look at how conduction works with the thermal camera. Remember, conduction is the movement of heat between objects that are touching. So I'm going to try to show you this if we can. I have this whiteboard, and if I can get my thermal camera here to show this whiteboard to you. Right now we're looking at this whiteboard, and we see on the thermal camera it's kind of like this green color. That means it's kind of cool, not really warm. I'm going to rub my hands together, and I am going to touch the whiteboard. My hand is warmer now, and I'm touching the whiteboard. I'm going to let it on there for just a moment or two. And then I'm going to show you the whiteboard in the thermal camera again, and we're going to see if we have any evidence of conduction. So we should have the heat moved from my hand to the whiteboard. Let's see if we find evidence of that. All right, now it's not a great picture in the thermal camera, but before it all looked green, and now we can see a little bit of red and yellow in there when we look at the whiteboard. So that is the heat that moved from my hand to the whiteboard because my warm hand touched the whiteboard. That's an example of conduction. The heat moved from my hand to the whiteboard because I touched it. Again, that is conduction, and our thermal camera shows us evidence of conduction. All right, you have your assignment to do in Google Docs as well. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to send me an email if you need some help. Have fun.